DSWA Teleclass. This is our ongoing resource for all of you members and associates in which we focus on innovation and education. And this webinar in Teleclass is certainly no exception. It is all about information, about the future of communication. And our guest today is David Taylor from TXTwire. And TXTwire is a company created in 2006 to provide mobile marketing, mass communication, and emergency alert solutions for businesses, municipalities, schools, and other organizations worldwide through easy and effective text-based messaging, and that's the message. And they've also customized their dashboard to fit the direct sales market. Everything from mass notifications and polling were devised to increase sales, recruiting, and retention. There is so much information here that you're going to just love, so I'm going to turn it over. And by the way, I wanted you to know not only is David the VP of Direct Sales for TXTwire, but he's an active distributor in a direct sales company. So he not only can talk the talk, he is walking the walk. So David, it's all yours.
Nancy, thank you. It's great to be here, and I'm such a big fan of DSWA. What a wonderful organization and tremendous services that are provided to our profession. And I want to really salute those who are on this call. These are the people who are out in the trenches doing the work, changing lives, and who are also committing to personal development, which is such an important part of what we do. So we want to focus in on increasing sales, recruiting, and retention, something that we can all benefit from, of course, as direct selling professionals. And one of the things that we know is how important communication is in our profession, and that successful distributors find effective ways to communicate with really three essential constituencies. And by the way, I'm going to use the term distributors kind of as a generic term. I know that that many of you may go by terms that are different than that, or titles that are different than that. So that'll be our term that we'll use to refer to all of us on the call as direct selling professionals. But we have to find effective ways to communicate with team members, first of all. You know, team members who are not effectively communicated with, frankly, tend to go away. They don't feel valued, they don't feel included, and they just have to be, we have to be effective in our communication. We oftentimes forget about customers, and we need to not forget them. We need to have effective ways to communicate with them, to remind them of the value of what they're receiving month in and month out as they participate with our products and services. And finally, we need to find effective ways to communicate with our prospective customers and team members. Now, one of the things that you all know who are on this call is that in communications, fear is the enemy. Now, what are we talking about here? We may not be talking about you, but we're likely talking about your team members who are, you know, when they sit down and it's time to pick up that phone and it's time to call a prospective party hostess or it's time to call a prospective business partner, the fear sets in, and fear leads to inaction. And so people who are really effective at direct sales find ways to take fear out of communication by empowering their team with, number one, systems that are built around methods of communication that are comfortable for the average person. Now, what do I mean by that? You know, if we build our communication systems around, you know, something that only the superstar can do, only that person who's the excellent public speaker or the quote-unquote salesperson, then we've really missed the boat, because as we know, direct selling is a profession that's built on lots of part-timers and people who are experts in other things but are doing direct sales part-time to supplement their income, reduce their debt, whatever they're trying to do. And so we have to build our systems around that average person and things that they're comfortable doing. Secondly, we have to empower our team with great tools to convey key messages so team members don't have to be on the spot. You know, what we don't want to do is put our team members in a situation where they have to give a spiel. They have to give a 10-minute explanation of something. This increases fear, and people don't want to do that. So we have to have tools that do that convey those key messages. And finally, we have to have communication methods that are extremely efficient, that cater to team members who are mostly part-time. So we need to have methods that if a person's going to sit down for that burst of 30 to 60 minutes of energy that they're going to put into their business, what can they do that is the most effective use of that time? And of course, we're going to talk about texting as a way to provide communications that do these things, to take the fear out. I know you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, you know, I take out my phone and I text all the time, and I think we're going to take that to a new level on this training. Let's talk a little bit about the texting revolution and what's going on right now. Some things you may find interesting. Number one, there are 1.3 billion internet users, but over 5.9 billion mobile phone subscribers. What an amazing statistic. You know, we tend to think, well, everybody's on the internet. Well, if we think everybody's on the internet, really everybody has a mobile phone. Number two, 91% of all U.S. citizens have their mobile phone within reach 24/7. So it's there, it's accessible. Number three, 98% of text messages are read. 98%. You know, the nice thing about texting is that there are organizations and there are regulators that are working very, very hard to keep texting clean so that it doesn't happen to texting what's happened to email. And that it stays a method that when you get a text, generally speaking, it's coming from someone who you know, so you pay attention to it, or someone that you've given permission to send you that text. Compare that with 10% to 45% of emails are read. Now, the analysis that we've done, that's a pretty generous range actually, because in direct sales environments, when we look at, you know, often from a corporate level, companies communicating with their distributors, it's usually like in the 10 to 15% range. So we're not talking about how often people read a spam message from somebody they don't even know. We're talking about how often somebody reads an email message, you know, that from someone that they do know. And so, you know, there's this huge difference. And oftentimes we feel like we build our email our email distribution list, and we send out an email, and that's going to get read. And that, you know, as you can see, that may not be a good assumption. Number five, and the real key point that I want to make as we launch into some of the creative ways to fold texting into your business, is that texting, although it's powerful, should not become a complete substitute for direct communication, specifically phone calls. But it's a powerful tool when used in conjunction with direct communication. So we're not advocating, nor would we ever advocate, a situation where, you know, direct sellers just text and they don't communicate directly by picking up the phone. I think you're going to get a vision of what can happen when you combine the two. So here's a question for you to consider. Who would you like to quickly have the following: your picture, a little information about you and your business, your website, your contact information, including social media links, a short video of your choice, could be about your business opportunity, could be about a party, and that by getting that information in their hands quickly, you get their cell phone number for future contact. Can you think how valuable that would be if you had a way to just quickly get that kind of information into someone's hands and receive their cell phone number in the process so you could communicate in the future? What if that could be done via text? So some of the people that would be valuable in reaching out to would be prospective business partners, prospective customers, prospective party hostesses, even party guests or prospective party guests. And you know, you can probably think of a lot more people that you'd like to be able to get that information to. So let me tell you about an exciting and kind of a breakthrough tool that we have at TXTwire. I think this is really going to get you thinking about how to use texting in your business. We call it the M card. That's short for the mobile business card. And what the mobile business card does is take all those elements that I just mentioned, your picture, a little bit about you, a video, a link to your website, your social media links, all of your contact information, and in a text communicates that to someone. Now, the best way for you to get a vision for this M card, because it's hard to describe in words, is I've created an M card for you to take a look at. And so if you will take out your smartphone and send a text to the number 91011. So where you would put someone's name or phone number, just put the number 91011. And then in the body of the text, just type one word, Dave, DSWA, and leave no spaces in between. And what will come back to you is a link that you can click on, and boom, up will come my mobile business card with that information. So, picture this. Again, back to efficiency, taking the fear out of phone calling and those kinds of direct communication. So instead of a team member calling up a prospective business partner and giving some spiel, a team member calls up a prospective business partner and says, I am so excited about something. If I get you over a 2-minute video, would you watch it, and can I check back with you in a few minutes and see what you think? Well, sure, you can do that. Great. Do you have your smartphone handy? Take out your smartphone and text the word Dave DSWA to 91011, and there will come over to you a link that you can click on, and I'll call you back in 20 minutes. And what happens through that interaction now is you can see how efficient, how easy, how non-scary that phone call is, and the person receives that information, and because they have sent you a text, you're notified of what what number that's coming from. You can add them to your contacts for future follow-up. How powerful would that be with a video that is about your business opportunity? How powerful would that be about the Hostess Reward Program of the month, and the communication is to a prospective hostess? How powerful would that be in getting a guest list for people who are going to attend a party, and a teaser video on what happens at a party, so that we can increase party attendance? So I'm sure your mind is starting to run wild on how you could use something as powerful as the M card. And because we're partners with DSWA, we have created a special opportunity for you to create your own M card. So you see a website there on the screen, www.textwire.com/DSWA, TXT, not TEXT, textwire.com/DSWA. You can go there, and through a very simple process, you can create your own M card. So this is an example of the power of texting and how it can be used in connection with, not instead of, a simple phone call that can take the fear out of that communication and make it much more effective. Now let's talk about some of the other really creative and effective things that you can do through texting. What about rank advancement? And you're going to see on the screen some of the sample messages that I won't read to you, but I'll just talk about the principles. What about rank advancement? We know that monthly rank advancement is critical to the success of our business, not only for us to rank advance, but for our team members to rank advance. We can use texting to remind people where they are in relation to their next rank advancement, and maybe even more importantly, to remind them where some of their team members are in connection with their rank advancement, so that they can be in touch and help them. And if there's places on the internet, maybe our company is providing key coaching or key training or those kinds of things, that we can put a link in to get them there and help them know how to get over the hump. That would be great. I mean, obviously, you're going to be their coach and you're going to be their resource as well, but this is keeping it top of mind for them because, again, they're part-time. They're going to lose focus on where they're at. How about promotions and incentives? You know, our company announces great monthly promotions and incentives, and everyone remembers them for about 5 hours after they're announced. And, you know, then they go back to their life and they forget these. And so, again, we've got to keep those top of mind. We've got to remind people of deadlines. What about fast start systems? Something that you might be interested to know is that, you know, attrition or dropout, as you know from your own teams, is the enemy of direct sales. The dropout or attrition of our reps and our customers. Did you know for direct selling representatives, for those who are doing the business, 50% of attrition for any direct selling company occurs within 90 days of enrollment? Now, you know that intuitively because you experience it in your business. We've got a limited amount of time to get somebody enthused, to get them a win, to get them a little bit of money coming in. I call this period turning hope into belief. People join our direct selling teams with a hope. You know, they may have tried it before and not been successful. They may be skeptical. They're kind of banking on you. They're kind of banking on, you know, this being different this time. And somehow in a short window of time, we've got to take that hope and we have to turn it into belief. So I'm sure your company has a specific fast start system and fast start incentive and fast start training that we can make sure people are doing what they need to do on schedule through text reminders and through text with links to training and links to other explanation of critical information. So it's such a time-sensitive period that we can help keep people on track. So what about recognition? Recognition, as we know, is so vital. People want to be recognized. They work hard for their accomplishments. Maybe they had a great party. Maybe they reached a new rank. Maybe they just brought a new team member on. These are opportunities to recognize, and you know, texting can play a role in that recognition. Event participation. This could be a corporate event. It could be your team event, a training event like a Super Saturday. It could be, as we talked about before, an event like a party where we're basically trying to remind people to register or to attend or to bring in friends. So again, you know, we just have to remember that we're talking about 98% read rates here. For home parties, there's a myriad of applications for texting. One of the things that we've talked about in a real creative way already is how to use texting to increase attendance. You know, one of the big challenges that direct selling companies face in the U.S. is party attendance. There's been a lot of home party companies started in the U.S. over the last 5 to 10 years, so people are getting asked a lot to go to parties. And yours isn't the only one that they've been asked to go to this month. So what if we could use texting to give them a little peek, not only just a reminder of when and where the party is, but what about maybe a little preview video of, you know, what's exciting is going to happen at the party, or when we're trying to extend the invitation to hostesses to, again, convey that information, you know, electronically via text to a prospective hostess. And this can really increase the effectiveness of our parties. I've even known people who have used texting at the party to include participation. You know, if you're using texting as an ongoing way to communicate with customers, then one of the things you could do at a party, I know one thing that direct selling professionals are always struggling with is, you know, we'd really like to leave the party with everybody's contact information. But what's the best way to do that? Well, what if you had a simple way to just have everybody take out their cell phone and send you a text and then use those texts for your drawing or your raffle, so that you could choose from among those who send the text, and then you can let the people know. I use texting to let my customers know about specials that come along. So I'll be sending you texts from time to time. If you ever don't want to receive those texts, then just opt out. There will be a way for you to do that. So lots of different ways that we can use texting in a home party environment. So we've talked about lots of different things. We've talked about some trends in the industry. We've talked about trends for communication and how to use texting as an increased tool. I want to kind of wind up with some key success principles. Number one, start thinking about texting differently. Start thinking about it more strategically. Try to expand the way you're using texting to meet key business objectives that you may be pursuing. Number two, remember texts are short. The limit on a text is 160 characters, but they can link through to other information. Typically if you do a text that's longer than that, on a lot of phones it'll come through as a part one, part two. So if you keep them short and to the point, but remember that you can include a link. So you can include a link to anything that's out on the internet. If you're using an M card, you can include the video functionality that you could, the video you could put in your M card might be a selfie that you've done. It might be somebody, a link to a company video that you have access to, or those kind of things. But just remember, short content, but then link to other information. Again, we've talked about this a couple of times. Don't try to replace all direct communication with texting. Use it as a supplemental tool. And then finally, consider using a professional texting application like a TXTwire. And I bring this up because most people are not even aware that these things exist, that they provide the convenience of a computer interface. We're used to taking our phone in our hands, entering one or two, or if we're really being tedious, 3 or 4 or 5 different numbers and sending a text. If we have the ability to use a computer interface to sit down at our keyboard to create distribution lists and to easily send out text to multiple different, to leaders at certain levels, to all of our customers, what if we had the ability to do that? And that's the kind of convenience that professional texting application can provide.